Hello, and welcome to Green Empowerment's annual benefit dinner. I'm so excited to be with you all tonight and incredibly grateful to everyone tuning in. My name is Andrea Johnson, and I'm the Executive Director of Green Empowerment and the host for tonight's broadcast. As you're getting settled in, whether at home or at one of our watch parties, I want to take a moment to thank the Green Empowerment community who made this event possible. First, to our team, from program team members across the globe to our Oregon-based staff, this event would not be possible without your endless creativity, adaptability, and willingness to step up on behalf of the mission we all feel so passionate about. Staying connected with each other, with our supporters like you, partners, and communities has been quite different the last few years, to put it lightly. Yet our team always rises to the occasion, and tonight, our audience, our guests, are truly going to benefit from the commitment and passion that permeates this awesome team that I'm so grateful to be a part of. To our watch party hosts, thank you for opening your homes to other people to reconnect with us or to learn about us for the first time. I also know that we have a guest celebrating a birthday tonight. So Ted Haley, feliz cumpleaños, and thank you for spending your birthday with Green Empowerment. To others tuning in, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoy tonight's program. For those that were able to order the meal or attend a watch party, please get your bingo cards ready. We hope this custom game helps you feel connected to our work and also maybe a little bit competitive with each other. Healthy competition is not a bad thing, and we're excited to see who wins, and we're excited for the winners to get their prizes. Many of you are longtime supporters of Green Empowerment, and like me, I imagine you remember fondly and hope to return to our days holding this event at Andina Restaurant in Portland. This is not the same, but it is special, and you're here and we are grateful. So thank you for joining us in celebration tonight. Even though this event has evolved over the last few years, we keep showing up, our community shows up, and the impact is real and positive. To some of our new guests, we are so excited to welcome you into the Green Empowerment family. We often joke that once you're part of the family, you can't ever leave. So we're friends now. I look forward to many years of connection, be it via virtual engagements like this one, or maybe even in person at our 25th anniversary event this fall. We are planning that to be in person. We are going to be bringing back Passport to Empowerment on September 23rd. We are very excited about the prospect of bringing our international team members to that event as well. So we hope to see you there. As a reminder, tonight we are gathered to celebrate and support Green Empowerment's mission of bringing renewable energy and clean water to rural communities across the globe. Our vision of a more equitable world where everyone has access to these critical resources drives our work and informs our approach to how that work happens. This is really key to our mission. And frankly, our approach is the key ingredient to our success as an organization. And one of those is authentic partnerships. We partner with in-country organizations who are already working with last mile communities. They understand the culture, the environmental and socioeconomic context to do this work and make it get sustained, have the impact we want it to have. Green Empowerment, we provide technical support, program design, project coordination, administrative and fundraising support to our partners. Yes, fundraising support. Our partners really lead on project implementation with communities, and they help to ensure that projects meet the needs and also the aspirations of the communities themselves. So to start us off tonight, I offer a little bit of history and a toast. Many of you know this story, but for those that don't, or just as a reminder, in 1987, Ben Linder, an engineer from Portland, was working on microhydro projects with rural community members in Nicaragua when he was killed by US-funded Contras. Following his death, his colleagues, friends, and family continued this important work. In 1997, the Ben Linder Memorial Fund joined what is now Green Empowerment, and we still work with the Association of Rural Development Workers, Ben Linder, in Nicaragua. We have embraced Ben's commitment to local leaders and his belief in a more equitable world as we have grown and expanded our organization over the last 25 years. As part of our growth, we have really emphasized bringing in country nationals onto our own team to support our programs. This is the investment we believe in with our partnerships and communities. And it's been both rewarding and quite successful to have these team members lead our in-country programs. We are currently active in 5 countries in Latin America, 4 in Southeast Asia, and starting in 2020, we expanded our program support projects in Uganda. We had actually worked on a number of projects supporting them throughout the African continent over our history, but this was the first time we really invested in program expansion in a country in Africa in this way, with generous support from the All People Be Happy Foundation. Tonight, you will hear from team members from each of these regions. So for a toast, I share a verse from the poem, The Vigil for Ben Linder, written by Portland-based author Ursula Le Guin in 1987. To bring light to flower in a dark country takes experts in illumination, engineers of radiance. I'm also making sure to enjoy the Arath Pinot Noir. So it's as if I'm there with you celebrating tonight. As we honor our history, celebrate recent successes, and garner support and enthusiasm for our work ahead, it is my pleasure to pass along the program tonight to some of these experts in illumination, starting with Beneville Nagudi. Beneville's Green Empowerment's Uganda Program Coordinator. She joined our team last year and is doing a fantastic job representing green empowerment in our newest program country. She's taking the lead, building new partnerships, really listening to what people are interested in, what gaps are there, what are the technical challenges, what can an organization like Green Empowerment do to support them? This month, she's taking the lead on our first project installation, which is a solar plus storage system on a health clinic that lies close to the border of South Sudan. This clinic serves over 40,000 patients a year. The majority are refugees, but they also do serve Ugandan nationals who are located close by. The Ugandan government actually made this a policy that any of the services for refugees would be available to in-country nationals to try to minimize the tension between refugees seeking safety and support and in-country nationals whose homes were previously there and still are. Beneville's going to tell us a little bit about that tonight. So without further ado, it's my honor and pleasure to hand it over to Beneville.
Thank you so much, Andrea, for the kind introduction. It's my pleasure to be speaking to so many Green Empowerment supporters across the world. I joined Green Empowerment in 2021 as our first Uganda program coordinator, and it has been an amazing year. I was so intrigued during my interview process that there's a US-based organization that is doing community development so differently and was drawn to Green Empowerment because I believe in building resilient, vibrant, and healthy communities, which fits into Green Empowerment's work. We go beyond just collaboration and really support communities to lead change and development. People and community are the heart of Green Empowerment's work. From our partnerships with local organizations, communities, and the team is incredibly dedicated and a hardworking group. We lead with our values and really invest our resources to maximize the outcome of the projects we collaborate on. I grew up in a small village at the foothills of Mount Elgon in eastern Uganda. And in my hometown, we never had access to clean water. It was normal to walk 3 to 5 hours across hills and valleys looking for water. I remember falling sick quite often because the water we collected was shared with cattle and other farm animals. As a young adult, this really pushed me to want to see change where I came from. And in a way, this shaped my interest in this line of work, particularly to what Green Empowerment does in rural communities in the last mile. As part of our program expansion into Uganda, I've been meeting with so many different people working here in our country to support rural communities. From my engagement with these actors, there's so much opportunity for us to add value to the wash and energy actors in Uganda. Many organizations are really upgrading from point water sources to piped water systems. energy sector actors exploring improved solar improved solar technology systems, and looking to integrate these into agriculture, health, and education, which Green Empowerment is ready to support. And one thing that has been surprising is that some people find our approach to development work different and unique, which it is. And what is most surprising is when they learn more on how much impact we have had over the years through our partners. It's incredible to see their reaction towards this. And currently I'm working on our first solar irrigation project from Nyumanzi Health Center 3 in West Nile region. As COVID-19 vaccinations become more available in Uganda, energy access for refrigeration is critical to reaching rural populations. Nyumanzi Health Center hosts 50% of refugees, primarily from South Sudan. So within this project, we are looking to provide reliable 24-hour-day solar PV system plus a storage system to the health center and an O&M system in place to sustain it over time. This clinic I'm talking about serves about 40,000 patients annually, and this includes 4,000 children and tends to 680 births a year. And yet on average, it just has about 2 hours a day of electricity from a diesel generator. In addition to this, patient demand is expected to grow given the civil unrest in neighboring South Sudan and the global pandemic. And through this project, new health services will be enabled. I mean, we're talking about improved routine and specialized immunization, improved birth service, thermal protection for all babies, specifically preterm babies, neonatal acute respiratory infection detection and treatment, IT for communication and patient record keeping. And also an important part of electricity access is lighting at night. And it's so important for security and trust to access the clinic at night, especially for families having just arrived into the country. I have also really enjoyed connecting and learning from the rest of the Green Empowerment team. For example, Gabe Wine, who is going to speak next, is Green Empowerment's Energy Access Lead and has been working with Green Empowerment for over 10 years. He has been helping us understand options for solar irrigation with a potential partner here in Uganda. And aside from the fact that farmers in Uganda and Indonesia are hugely affected by climate change, it was interesting to learn how smart some of these rural farmers in Uganda and Indonesia are. And you find that before we even engage with them on solar irrigation, they have picked up some ideas from YouTube and other e-learning sources. And all we do is really guide on what will work best on their farms, how can they use this technology efficiently. With that, thank you for your attention and for the opportunity to share with you all today. It's my pleasure to hand it over to Gabe.
Thanks, Beneville. Really looking forward to meeting you in person sometime soon. And thank you to the Green Empowerment family that is tuning in today. I've been working with Green Empowerment for 11 years. I've seen a lot change in that time, but I stick around because we have the freedom and flexibility to take our work to the next level as our partners grow. Over the years, I've worked with Tonybong, our longtime partner in Malaysia, and other stakeholders in the region, focusing on installing microhydro and solar PV-based mini-grids. With Tonybong alone, we've installed over 50 community-owned and operated systems since 2001. Lately, I've been working on a different type of project, the Sabah Rural Electrification Roadmap with our longtime partners in Malaysia. We're taking a really different approach to rural electrification planning that leverages indigenous knowledge and deep understanding of local context with sophisticated modeling, geospatial mapping, and policy recommendations to help accelerate energy access for Sabah's unelectrified villages. Sabah is home to 72% of unelectrified rural Malaysians and 8 of the 10 poorest districts in Malaysia. Through this project, our consortium has mapped over 400 villages, completed demographic studies in 200 communities, and feasibility studies in 40. And we're working to provide high-quality 24-hour energy access to 7 priority communities by the end of 2024, while building the pathway to energy access for all of them by 2030. This work really engages with the complexity of rural electrification head-on. We're trying to demonstrate the need for and advantages of renewable community-centered energy solutions by integrating a grassroots approach to data collection with state-of-the-art tools for its analysis. We're building the foundations that would be required for a scalable rural electrification solution in Malaysia. While it's exciting to see some of the work in Malaysia come to this, it's also been meaningful to work in my home country of Indonesia. After the virtual trainings made necessary by the COVID pandemic, we were able to visit communities in North Kalimantan and Indonesian Borneo. This involved a flight to the town of Tarakan, followed by several hours ferry ride to the mainland and a 4-hour river boat ride to unelectrified village cluster, shortlisted by training participants. For the first time, we were able to meet participants non-virtually and were able to answer questions through physical demonstrations of equipment use, as well as to sit down with trainees and guide them in the use of design tools. We completed some feasibility studies, and once the rainy season ends, we'll perform a survey of the shortlisted sites. Since supporting programs that help indigenous communities gain agency over their development and natural resources is an issue close to me, it's been exciting to hear about some of the work going on in Peru. While the work is literally across the globe, I actually see more similarities and differences, and it's been exciting to see how our impact has grown under the leadership of Katya Diaz, our Peru program coordinator. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to pass the virtual mic to Katya.
Thanks, Gabe. It is wonderful to be able to participate in this event from my home country, Peru. I am excited to share with you a little about some recent work we have been doing in the Andes with several communities in the Puno region. Puno is a region located in a fairly high area in the south of Peru, with almost 4,000 meters above sea level. And although there are some surface water sources, in many cases the population accesses water through underground sources, which are the most abundant in the area. They access these fountains by hand, using buckets and ropes, for example. However, the experiences of pumping water have been increasing in the place. With one of our partners in Peru, a new technology was introduced, which is water pumping, but using solar energy instead of the energy coming from the conventional energy system, which, in addition to being a cleaner energy, as you know, promotes technical and financial management at the community level. So we trust that this work that has been carried out with our partner and the constant training in the communities can aim to achieve the sustainability of the systems over time. As Andrea mentioned it in her opening remarks, when we talk about local leadership, we mean leadership on many levels. We're talking about staff members like me who are working in our home countries, about working with local partner organizations, and about leadership within communities. The work in Puno, Peru, is a great example of many local leaders coming together to build a truly functional and sustainable system. I can mention now about the Karana community. It has Aymara origin and groups approx 100 families. This was where the first experience with the solar water pumping project was implemented, where with the active participation of the population, especially its water committee, it has been possible to install a 4.5 kilowatt solar system that allows water to be supplied directly to homes. This project also allowed the installation of water meters and the development of different training for the management of the water service and the efficient management of water resources. This work will not have been possible without the interest of the community leaders, who, in addition to contributing with hours of work for the development of the activities, they constantly motivated the rest of the residents to be part of the project that was going to benefit the entire community. For example, Mr. Ernesto Flores, who always tells us about the long-term vision of the development of his community, and how being able to access to quality water will also benefit the children of Karana in the future. It has been really great for me to connect with Rafael. He is the founder and director of Energía Ambiente y Sostenibilidad. He is a professional with extensive experience in development projects in rural areas of Peru, mainly related to water and energy. He worked for more than 15 years for our former partner, Practical Action Peru, and now he leads a new organization with a comprehensive approach that covers infrastructure works, social and productive development. I always learn from our conversations about the needs and opportunities that exist in our country, and always looking forward to supporting more communities in the future. Traveling with him and his team to Puno, I was very moved to notice the warmth of the people, their kindness towards us, and it helped me to be even more aware of the existing inequalities in my country. Thus understanding that the work we do, even if it's rural scale, has an impact on families. Likewise, listen to community leaders about the common well-being and the dreams they have for their families and their communities inspires me to continue working with them and recognize that we still have many other opportunities to work in this part of the country. So now it's my pleasure now to invite you to travel with us to Carana and hear directly from Rafael and some of the amazing community leaders in this video.
At Green Empowerment, we believe local leadership is essential for truly sustainable projects. We see strong leadership in the organizations that we partner with.
Mi nombre es Rafael Escobar, soy el gerente de Energía, Ambiente y Sostenibilidad. Yo vengo de una ciudad rural y en los primeros años de mi vida no hemos tenido acceso a la energía eléctrica y el agua potable también era escasa. Entonces he sentido en carne propia lo que es no tener estos servicios básicos. La misión de Energía, Ambiente y Sostenibilidad es desarrollar y aplicar tecnología para mejorar la calidad de vida de los pobladores rurales del Perú.
We listen to and collaborate with local leaders in the communities where we work.
Hay cosas fundamentales que hay que tomar en cuenta para trabajar con una comunidad. Una primera cosa es respetar su cultura. Ellos tienen una forma de mirar su propio desarrollo. Un segundo aspecto es que me gusta mucho la participación y en la medida que la comunidad se organice mejor y participe, para nosotros es un proyecto más exitoso. La colaboración es algo fundamental, la colaboración mutua. Ayúdame que te ayudo.
Más que todo aquí se ha hecho el trabajo comunal y contrapartida, en otras palabras. El municipio, ONG y la comunidad. Aquí ha sido 3 partidas que hemos hecho. Nosotros tenemos que hacer unidad siempre. Si estamos unidos, todo podemos lograr.
When locals lead their own development, it empowers the communities to build what they need, which means the project will be used and valued for years to come.
Hoy día hemos visto la realidad, el sueño que tanto esperaban mi mamá como yo. Y vamos a recordar siempre, porque vamos a contar esa historia a nuestros hijos, a nuestros nietos.
Para mí lo correcto sería siempre algo de concreto, pensando hacia el futuro. Eso sería mi pedido como mujer, como madre de familia de este lugar, lugareña.
It's the local residents who will be there long term to finance, repair, and maintain the project. They're motivated to do this work for their own community.
Ahorita yo estoy asumiendo como presidente de HAS de agua potable, de la comunidad Carana. Para nosotros era pues un poco difícil, ¿no? El tiempo más que todo, el tiempo que teníamos que ir, digamos, jalar de los ojos. Hoy se ha logrado tener agua potable y es muy importante.
Todos tenemos agüita y ya sabemos también cómo se consume el agua, entonces tenemos que pagar. Sin problemas, sin nada. Vamos a pagar del agua, solitos, de canto, lo que consumimos. Es bueno que nos haya llegado el agua.
In challenging times of global disruption, it's the local leaders and organizations that stay on the ground and will keep doing this work for their dreams of the future.
Aquí de 20 años, quisiera que tener, digamos, todos los servicios básicos, estaremos así viviendo igual que la ciudad.
En esta comunidad también soñamos de riego por aspersión.
Hasta ya tenemos la visión de hacer nuestros bañitos así, ¿no? Bonito ya. Como en la ciudad, con la ducha, todo.
Consideramos importante el acceso al agua y a la energía porque son 2 derechos universales. Y consideramos que las comunidades rurales, mucha población todavía no tiene derecho a esos 2 servicios tan fundamentales para la vida. Y por eso luchamos.
Green Empowerment listens to and supports local leaders. With our wisdom and expertise, we can change our world together.
Mi sueño, como siempre, es sacar adelante a mi comunidad. Contar con servicios básicos, eso es mi ambición.
Tenemos la experiencia para transmitir y hacer realidad muchos sueños de los pobladores rurales.
Una obra bien realizada, un recuerdo de ustedes de ONG, que quede pues no a largo plazo.
Y ahora estamos bien con agua. Gracias por apoyarnos, muchas gracias. Les digo, gracias.
Wow, what an incredible video. I hope that that video really helps you understand why we at Green Empowerment value local leadership so much and probably talk about it maybe too much. It is so important to follow the lead of community members and partner organizations as we advance these critical resource projects. They are the ones that are going to sustain these over time, and they are their projects. We are there to facilitate and support. I also imagine that video helps some of you at the watch parties win Green Empowerment Bingo. This is a first for us trying to do something like this. So please consider posting a photo to social media with your celebratory gift and tag us if you are into that, or at least give your neighbors a little nudge to post on social media if that's their thing. I also hope that video inspired you tonight to support Green Empowerment. Very fortunately, our board of directors and a few key supporters have offered up an exciting and generous incentive for you all to support us tonight by providing a $51,500 match for us to use for our benefit campaign. Please take this opportunity to consider making a contribution now. You can do it online at www.greenempowerment.org/donate or via check, or however you are able or however you care to give. While you are considering a donation, and perhaps for a little bit more inspiration, here are a few additional voices from our community sharing about why they support Green Empowerment.
This year's theme is local, so here I am in my local Markham Nature Park, but that's not where I fell in love with Green Empowerment. I fell in love when my husband and I were doing work in Borneo. We actually, although I'm an Oregon native, met Green Empowerment through the tremendous work that they were doing in Sabah. What I fell in love with was how much they turned over the work they were doing to the local people, put them in charge. Really different from a lot of the other organizations we met. So I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight, but I am with you in spirit.
The reason I serve on Green Empowerment Board is because I care for community development, and doing it with an environmental approach is the most sustainable way. I'm honored to serve on Green Empowerment, working globally, including my country, Uganda.
I support Green Empowerment because as a returned Peace Corps volunteer, I finally see a nonprofit doing development work the right way, empowering local staff and, more importantly, local communities to take charge of their own projects.
I've personally seen our work in Ecuador and Bolivia, and they really make a difference. Partnering with local organizations and empowering and training local communities to build, maintain, and champion clean water and energy projects. Don't just give people a fish, teach them how to fish.
I think it's important to support local leadership through Green Empowerment in order to create sustainable, culturally appropriate projects that communities will welcome and then continue to maintain.
I was 18 in the summer of 1965 when I traveled to Mississippi to work as a civil rights worker. I learned a lot that summer from the rural black farmers we worked with. I learned about the power of local leadership and how ordinary people can create change. These lessons have stayed with me all my life and are the reason that I'm so committed to Green Empowerment.
as Green Empowerment is reaching its 25th year anniversary, it has built networks, it has built relationships, it has built partnerships with community members and local organizations that enable everyone to do work that is centered around the community's needs.
Giving voice and ownership of clean water and renewable energy projects to local community members.
To think on behalf of others, I think, is always a mistake. If we know that that's who needs to be included in the conversation, then we need to include them in the conversation, and not be the saviors, but be the implementers.
Aid is not dependent on us coming in and thinking we make a third world situation better. A situation is better when people can take care of it themselves. Mentoring, guiding, technological assistance makes it possible, but the Green Empowerment model is unique as near as I can tell, and very effective and deserves everyone's participation.
When I became acquainted with Green Empowerment, I was just very impressed with the approach. I had the opportunity to visit the Rio Abajo project, and I was just so impressed with the commitment of the community members. They really were actively involved. I remember the very first community meeting, one of the things that really impressed me was who spoke the most? Women. And you don't always see that in different countries, different cultures. And they were very actively engaged and really great dialogue. And so it really fit in very much in line with how I feel development should be done. And it seemed like a very logical organization to help give back to communities that I've been involved with over the years.
Awesome. I really love hearing from our supporters and board members. I will say the first time I watched some of those clips come in, I got a little teary-eyed, realizing just how profound the belief in our work is and the support is. And, it is our duty and responsibility to carry that work forward. And it is an honor for me. And I'm so glad to invite you all to participate in that tonight. I especially loved hearing Steve at the end share his personal story about visiting Los Andes and hearing directly from community members themselves. I also want to emphasize that while we are of course celebrating, there's just so much more work to do. Most of our partner organizations have waiting lists of communities that are ready to go, more projects that need support. When Raphael, who was featured earlier in this video, was asked by one of our team members recently, how many more communities are there like this? You saw Joaquin, Katya, Sam on our team with Raphael in those communities, and they were trying to understand, how do we increase our impact? How do we do more projects with these existing partners? There's need here. Raphael kind of stumbled a little bit. He said, well, there's so many. And Joaquin asked further, okay, are there 10s? Are there 50s? Are there hundreds? And Raphael said hundreds. There are hundreds of communities in this region right now where we work that could use these types of projects and this support. So the need is immense. The work we do is foundational for these communities. And our approach, the way that we do the work, deepens our impact and makes sure it's sustained. And we really do rely on supporters like you to make all of this happen. With the funding that we get from this campaign, we will be able to get that $51,500 match. And we at Green Empowerment are able to match that fourfold with family foundations and grant funds that amplifies every gift that we receive. Every contribution matters. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of our global community. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. Cheers. Salud.